don't have no offense. Everything is defense. Defense only win in basketball and football. That shit win in boxing.
When Gervonta Tank Davis recently threw a jab at Shakur Stevenson, he ignited some serious discussion in the boxing world. Tank said something that raised eyebrows, claiming Shakur has no defense and that all he does is move back. This bold statement wasn't just some trash talk. It pointed out a noticeable flaw in Stevenson's game that many boxing fans had overlooked. Tank wasn't the only one to voice criticism, though. There's a growing number of fighters and fans who believe Shakur's defensive tactics, which rely heavily on retreating and using his footwork to escape, are less effective than they appear. It's a style that works against a lot of opponents, but as Tank pointed out, it's vulnerable against someone who can cut off the ring and land meaningful shots. To make matters even more interesting, Edwin de Los Santos, the fighter who made Shakur sweat in their sparring sessions, humorously dubbed him Shakira Twitterson, poking fun at Stevenson's social media presence and his sometimes predictable style inside the ring. So, with all this noise around Shakur Stevenson's defense and his somewhat defensive-first style, what does it mean for Floyd Schofield Jr. as he steps into the ring with the former champion? Can Schofield exploit Stevenson's apparent tendency to back up and avoid contact, or will Stevenson's superior skills still prove too much to handle? Today, we're diving deep into how Schofield can use this very criticism to his advantage and why investing in body shots and mixing up his attack could be the key to unlocking a win. Let's break down the blueprint to defeating a fighter like Shakur Stevenson.
Everybody knows what I want.
So we know you're talking about Shakur Stevenson, who was live tweeting during this show tonight. Do you feel like after a performance like that, you're ready for that level of fight?
Oh, yeah. Because Shakur is not Renee. Shakur don't got the power like Renee. He don't got that dog in him, so,
Shakur Stevenson is an outstanding boxer with exceptional footwork, speed, and defensive capabilities. He's adept at controlling distance and using his head movement to avoid punches, often relying on his ability to step back and reset when things get too close. This defensive strategy, while effective against many opponents, can be seen as a bit of a double-edged sword. Moving back allows him to avoid taking damage, but it also opens the door for a fighter like Floyd Schofield Jr. to press forward and cut off the ring. Schofield's ability to apply relentless pressure is one of his strongest assets, and it will be crucial for him to close the distance and limit Stevenson's movement. If Schofield can corner Stevenson and prevent him from using his footwork to escape, he can land some heavy shots and wear him down over the course of the fight. To effectively implement this strategy, Schofield Jr. will need to sharpen his skills in cutting off the ring. This means he needs to be relentless in his pursuit, constantly positioning himself to trap Stevenson against the ropes or in the corners. It's not just about throwing punches and hoping to land. Schofield must intelligently position himself and cut off escape routes. This requires not only a high level of aggression, but also excellent ring awareness. He can't simply follow Stevenson around the ring. He must anticipate where Stevenson is going next and be 2 steps ahead. This could be one of the most challenging aspects of the fight, but if Schofield is able to trap Stevenson in a corner or against the ropes, he will be able to unleash powerful combinations. While cutting off the ring is crucial, Floyd Schofield Jr. must also have the right tools defensively to weather the storm when Stevenson counters or lands shots. Stevenson is a skilled counterpuncher, and he's shown a knack for making his opponents pay when they make mistakes. Schofield's defensive strategy will need to be sharp, and this is where he can take a page out of the book of Alexander Usyk, who employs a high guard to protect both his face and body. By using a similar guard, Schofield can minimize the damage when Stevenson tries to land clean counters. A high guard will allow Schofield to block many of Stevenson's shots, while his movement can still be used to evade any punches that get through. Additionally, the high guard provides Schofield with the ability to seamlessly shift into an offensive posture. This kind of defense is designed to both protect and counter, allowing Schofield to stay in range to attack while minimizing risk. For Schofield to succeed, his offensive strategy needs to be twofold: cutting off the ring and landing clean shots to the head and body. He needs to attack Stevenson's face, which is an area that many fighters overlook, instead focusing on head movement and body shots. By going after the face, Schofield can break through Stevenson's defenses, especially when the latter relies heavily on moving back to avoid shots. Face shots, especially when strategically placed, can disorient an opponent and open up opportunities for other punches. Schofield will need to be precise and disciplined, targeting Stevenson's face while not abandoning his body attack, which is just as important for wearing down a fighter over the rounds. The body shots can slow Stevenson down and make him less mobile, while shots to the head can destabilize his defense. For Floyd Schofield Jr. to maximize his chances of beating Shakur Stevenson, one of the key strategies he must adopt is investing in body shots early in the fight, and then shifting his focus to the head from round 6 onward. The body is often an underrated area to target, especially against a fighter like Stevenson, who relies on his footwork and defensive skills to avoid punches. By going to the body, Schofield not only wears down Stevenson physically, but also disrupts his rhythm and limits his ability to move freely around the ring. Body shots are often less glamorous than headshots, but they can be far more effective in breaking down an opponent over time. By targeting Stevenson's midsection, Schofield will gradually sap his energy, slow his movement, and lower his guard. The idea here is to make Stevenson uncomfortable with every move he makes. Every time he tries to pivot or create space, Schofield's hooks and straight punches to the body will force him to reset, weakening his mobility and forcing him into a more stationary position. This can open up opportunities for Schofield to land shots to the head, particularly as Stevenson's defensive focus might shift to covering his body rather than his face. In the middle rounds, particularly from round 6 onward, Schofield should transition his focus and mix in more headshots. At this point, Stevenson will likely be feeling the cumulative effect of Schofield's body work, which will naturally slow him down. This is the time for Schofield to capitalize by setting up his power punches. Using a consistent jab to probe and gauge distance is crucial. The jab can help Schofield maintain control of the fight, disrupt Stevenson's rhythm, and open up gaps in his defense. Once the jab is established, Schofield can follow up with more powerful punches, such as hooks and uppercuts. This combination of jabbing to set up bigger shots, along with the confidence gained from earlier bodywork, will allow Schofield to land clean, effective punches to Stevenson's head as his guard becomes less rigid. Another important element for Schofield to consider is his stamina and conditioning. A high-pressure, aggressive strategy demands a lot of energy, especially when constantly chasing an opponent around the ring. Schofield will need to ensure that he's in peak physical condition for the duration of the fight, as maintaining a high pace and cutting off the ring can quickly tire out a fighter if they're not prepared. This will be one of the factors that separate him from other boxers who have faced Stevenson, being able to press forward consistently and keep the fight at a high tempo. Another important factor that Schofield must keep in mind is Stevenson's tendency to counterpunch. Stevenson has excellent timing and reflexes, and he's shown the ability to make his opponents pay when they overcommit or leave themselves open. However, this is where Schofield can make a difference. Schofield must be fearless in returning punches when Stevenson tries to counter. This is crucial because Stevenson, while a technical master, is not known for having knockout power. Despite his skill set, he's not a one-punch knockout artist, and Schofield should take advantage of this by being willing to exchange punches when Stevenson attempts to land his counters. Schofield's strategy should be based on an aggressive, yet calculated, return fire. Every time Stevenson throws a punch, Schofield must respond with his own barrage of shots, even if it's just a quick flurry to disrupt Stevenson's flow. It's important for Schofield to understand that he has the advantage in exchanges since Stevenson lacks the knockout power to deter him. By engaging in these exchanges, Schofield not only counters Stevenson's counters, but also builds his own confidence and establishes that he will not be intimidated by Stevenson's defensive prowess. What Schofield needs to avoid is being too hesitant when Stevenson attempts to create distance or counter. This is when Stevenson can get the upper hand, controlling the pace and neutralizing Schofield's offense. By constantly being aggressive and willing to trade shots, Schofield will force Stevenson to adjust, perhaps even retreat further than he would like. The key is to maintain a high level of intensity without being reckless. Schofield should use his jab to control the range and then go to work with combinations, especially when Stevenson attempts to counter or take a step back. Overall, Schofield's approach must be about taking away Stevenson's ability to dominate with defense and counters. By investing in body shots early, transitioning to headshots in the middle rounds, and engaging in exchanges when Stevenson attempts to punch, Schofield can break down Stevenson's defense and control the tempo of the fight. While Shakur Stevenson may have more experience, Schofield's strategy of sustained pressure and calculated aggression will give him a strong chance to win, especially when paired with his ability to return punches in kind. This approach requires discipline, patience, and the willingness to take risks, but it can be the key to outworking and outlasting Stevenson over the course of the fight. Do you fancy Floyd Schofield Jr. in this fight? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Please like, share, and subscribe. Remember to turn on the notification bell to get update whenever a new video drops. Peace.